Please note this video was filmed before the lockdown in the UK. As always guys, stay safe.
Hello guys and welcome back to Car Obsession. You'll have to excuse the sunglasses. For once in the UK it is a really sunny day, so I thought it'd be rude not to wear sunglasses. I don't normally like to address you guys whilst wearing sunglasses, but yes, it is very bright and very pleasant. You joined me in Mad Max. It's been quite some time since he featured on the channel, and by the time this video goes out he may have been sold, he may have not been sold. The future of Mad Max is a little bit uncertain at the time of filming, as is the world, because at the time of filming coronavirus has swept the well, I was going to say swept the nation, but indeed the world. So in the UK we've had coronavirus for about 2 weeks or so, give or take. So yeah, very uncertain times for both the car and indeed the world. Anyway, I don't want to dwell too much on coronavirus. As you have probably seen from the title of this video, the main topic is what it is like to live with a welded diff. So I won't bore you too much in regard to the mechanics of a welded diff, but put simply, the purpose of a welded diff is to, well, give the car more oversteer. So if you're looking to do cheap skids, a welded diff is the way to go. So normally with a differential, well, when you're going through a corner, the inside wheel will need to turn less compared to the outside wheel, because the outside wheel has got more distance to travel as opposed to the inside wheel. However, with a welded diff, both wheels spin at the same velocity and they travel the same distance. So you have 50% of the power going to the inside wheel, well, 50% of the power and torque, and 50% going to the outside wheel. So in essence, the inside wheel is working more than it probably needs to, and by doing so it kind of forces the car out, and that's where you get oversteer. Now there are of course some drawbacks to a welded diff, which I will talk about whilst in this video. So let me get all strapped up, ready to go. It's been a while since he's been turned over, so let's see how we do. Absolutely fine. Japanese reliability right there. So this will be a good test of the welded diff, because it does give you a larger turning circle, and because of the 50-50 torque and the fact that both wheels have got the same amount of power and torque going through them, you do find at slower speed the wheels skip and hop. So I will demonstrate it. I am in a little bit of a tight spot, so this will be a little bit tricky. I haven't driven Mad Max for a while, so see how we get on. We'll probably stall, so no skipping just yet. There we go, there's the skipping. And into reverse. Told you. It's been a while, I'm out of practice. Now when I first bought the car, it had an XTD, not XCD, XTD. I think it was a stage 1 or stage 2 clutch, and I would stall the car relatively often. I thought it was because of the clutch, but no, I would say it's more because of the welded diff. So yes, a welded diff, as I touched upon earlier, is a good way for being able to skid the car or drift the car on a budget. Now, I bought the car with the diff already attached, and given the choice, I probably would have gone for a car with a limited slip diff. I did have plans to drift this car, but things have changed, so I probably won't end up doing that now. But I suppose it all depends on whether I sell or keep the car. Now, a few people have said to me, Aaron, you must go sideways everywhere. The car must be really, well, not difficult, but a little bit unmanageable to drive. And to be honest with you, through normal driving, you don't really notice the car has a welded diff. In fact, this may sound silly, but not too long after I bought the car, when I was driving it back to where I was living at the time, which was South London, I was thinking, has this actually got a welded diff? It doesn't feel like it. And then I had to do a parking manoeuvre. I thought, this has got a welded diff. So it does make slow manoeuvres a little bit tricky. So even then, I put a fair amount of throttle through the car, yet it behaved. Now, don't get me wrong, when it is damp or wet, it is a different story. Some of you may remember that I took this car on Snetterton last year, and that was quite a wet, damp, greasy day. And yeah, the car was a bit of a challenge. I think that's the best and easiest way to put it. But yes, going back to my point, day to day, I don't really notice too much this has got a welded diff until I need to park it. That's when it becomes a right pain in the backside. There's lots of traffic. But through day-to-day driving, it isn't too much of an issue. Now, that's not to say every welded diff is going to be easier to live with. I suppose it depends on how the weld has been done. But this one is manageable. And even when you're quite ham-fisted with the controls, it doesn't really get that sideways, which to some degree is a little bit of a disappointment. However, that's not to say this car can't go sideways, because when I test drove this car with the previous owner, yeah, he was a bit boisterous when he drove it, and yeah, it was quite impressive to see how he was able to truck the car about. So it's not to say this car can't, you know, kind of lose contrast, the wrong phrase. It's not to say this car can't kind of slip, so to speak, but it just all depends on how you drive it. This car is a 1.6 version. The engine is pretty much standard apart from an air intake, therefore it hasn't got a lot of power. So yeah. So for those of you that are wondering whether you should get a welded diff, well, I suppose it all depends on whether you can put up with one. They're not that high maintenance, but at the same time, sometimes when you're trying to parallel park in a rush, it is a bit of a faff. And I'll be deadly honest with you, I'm not the world's best parallel parker, so it's not often I get it right on a first attempt. And when I drive this car, it's even worse. Right, so time for a parallel park. Okay, granted, the bay I'm about to go into is quite big, and this is only a small car, but still. Wish me luck. Come on. And go forward. Yes, mission accomplished. Yes, I know it was a big bay, but hopefully you get my point. Parallel parking with a welded diff is a bit of a faff. So given the choice, would I have a welded diff again? Honestly, probably not, no. You know, yes, it does make skidding a little bit easier, although this car and the drive is actually quite manageable. I would probably just go for a limited slip diff. It'd be easier to live with. Oh, that's quite a big pothole. It'd be easier to live with, and you know, you can still get a car sideways with a limited slip diff. It just might need to provoke it a bit more. One thing I've found about the welded diff, or it may be other components of the car, is that compared to my Mark 1 MX-5, this feels a little bit understeery. It doesn't feel quite as direct in the corners. That's not to say that it handles badly, because it doesn't. See that little bit of understeer there, and then the car wanted to step out a little bit, but there just wasn't enough throttle input. Right, let's go somewhere where the roads are a little less busy, because it is quite congested around here at the moment. Now when you're out on faster roads, well, when I'm out on faster roads I should say, I don't feel as if the car is going to snap or give me a big dollop of oversteer at any moment. Now, maybe thanks to the very good Michelin Pilot Sport 3 tyres I have in each corner of the vehicle, which are really grippy, but I can still push this car hard in the corners, well, in the dry at least, with full confidence. Now, of course, if this car was pushing out more power, that may be a different story, but bearing in mind from factory, this car had about 110 horsepower, which, let's face it, isn't really much. I would have preferred a 1.8, but it was a case of what I could get in my budget at the time, which had this amount of modifications to it. Right, anyway guys, I'm stuck in traffic, so my fun is pretty much over. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like, subscribe and to ring my bell so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession and stay safe.